Well, Allie, you're up next.
Okay.
The question I have for you is, it's such a cool story, and I just met her, and I had the opportunity to learn your full story, so hopefully we can get a good amount of that during our time here today, is that you literally started out as a receptionist in a mortgage office, and now you are arguably one of the most, if not the most successful mortgage branch manager in the entire United States, meaning that your branch in Kirkland, Washington does more volume than any other branch for any other company in the country.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. The question I have for you is, I've noticed that the majority of the women that are working, the majority of the loan officers that you have hired that are working in your team that's doing so much volume are women. Are there any certain advantages to being a woman loan officer is the question I have.
It's a very good question. So I think many of us know this industry. If you look at the lending industry, 60% of lenders are men. Right? So we have 40% are women. And the average age is 54. So a 54-year-old man. And in my office alone, we have 37 loan officers that are producing. 17 of them are male, and then the rest are women. So we have 20 women loan officers. So when I look at that, yes, we do have a lot of powerful women, just total powerhouses. But we also have a lot of powerhouse men. So I want to make sure we point that out because they're phenomenal. But when you look at females in the industry, we're the minority. So when we look at that, we're able to gather them into one central location, and they're really feeding off of each other. And so I want to look at just our office as a whole. And I realize, yes, there are a lot of females and a lot of powerful females that are in the mortgage industry that are in my office. But there's a common denominator, and I didn't know what it was. So I went through and I had all of our loan officers take a test. And they had to do a disc test, like Strength Finders, a grit test. I don't know if you guys have taken the grit test. But going through, what I found was all of them, hands down, you put it on an Excel spreadsheet. When I'm looking for other loan officers that will attract to be in our office, they all fit under the same categories.
Interesting.
So it might not just be that they're powerhouse females, it's just a powerhouse office and lenders in general. And so going through the common denominators is they were all influential. So if you're taking DISC, they're high Ds, so they're very dominant. They're very passionate. They're very persuasive. They're very competitive. And when I look at those categories, that's what makes a phenomenal loan officer. If it's for you, if it's with you, that's what you're going to find. So I'm not going to say it's just because there's women. I will say I'm very proud of my women, but it's also just the characteristics.
Gotcha. I love that. So using DISC or Strengths Finder, and I'm very well versed in all of those. Is that something that you decided to do internally on your own?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, awesome. that was me just kind of jumping in and going. I know I was a loan officer for many years before I ended up going into the role of sales manager and branch manager, and I knew what drove me, but wondering, there's a common thread between these. And the fact that when I talk to loan officers thinking to join us, I'll say, you might not be a fit for us. Because I look at who's in our office. And I know what really drives them, and it's intimidating to some people.
I love it.
Decided, let's do a little test and figure it out.
So I would imagine that there's probably a certain vibe, a certain culture that's in your office. I wasn't planning on asking this, but due to the direction that this is going, is how would you describe the vibe or the culture in your office?
Absolutely. So when you have our top producer will close just shy of probably $300 million this year, just one individual loan officer. And our lowest producer will probably be right in the range of just shy of $30 million. Industry-wide. 12 million as a lender in a year.
It's good.
44 units. You're phenomenal. I'll take you all day long. You are a wonderful loan officer. And we're averaging this year per loan officer, the minimum will close about 140 units.
That's fantastic.
This year. So when you look at that, right? So I'm telling you these numbers because everyone is pushing each other for excellence.
Yes.
And when you are in an environment like that, the culture comes that there's a synergy that everyone shares. Because the only way my top producer is going to be better is if you literally practice what you preach. So if she can share it or he can share it, and then everyone will kind of spin off of each other. So it's an environment of sharing. It's an environment of building each other up and coaching each other, because there's enough business to go around right now.
I love that. Good stuff. Do you guys have any questions?
I'm a big fan of those tests that you're talking about, the DISC test and Graham's. And I think that a lot of people get into the industry and they choose a role in the industry that is more like throwing a piece of gum at a wall and hoping for the best. And if they took a step back and realized that there's a lot to offer, there's title, there's leadership, there's mortgage, real estate, there's even more than that in the real estate and mortgage industry, and they took those tests and they went and talked to some people in different roles and then decided what they wanted to do, that there would be more people that could find success faster, because the roles in real estate and mortgage are much different. And you can be somebody that's really good at business, but you can also be a really good athlete. We were talking about that earlier. Just because you're a really good football player doesn't mean you can ice skate. So I really believe in that.
I think it makes you definitely
key.
fit.
And I love that you tell people, honestly, I don't know that you're a really great fit for this office or even this business. Let's explore what might be the better fit for you. Real estate agents are very high-eye. They want to go out. They want to connect with people. And mortgage loan officers are very often, they want to focus on the task at hand, and they want to, be a little bit more stoic. So that's great.
That's fantastic. Here's another interesting question I was just thinking about while you're saying what you're saying is, do you look for seasoned loan officers, or do you look for loan officers who are green but tend to have specific characteristics coming out of a particular industry?
Absolutely. So we've done twofold in the past year, because if you believe in our culture, every loan officer that I hire has to want growth. So if you're seasoned and you want growth, I will absolutely take you hands down. But if you're brand new and you want growth, I will take you hands down. And so we've done two platforms. Typically what we'll do with someone that's new into the industry, we'll partner them up with one of our seasoned loan officers. They'll mentor them through. I coach them weekly. Then the loan officer is their mentor, and they're going to grow them. So we look at our loan officers going, you want to be a $300 million a year producer? We'll show you how to do it. We have all the tools to do it. That's there. And you can tell by someone's personality test if they want growth, if they're competitive, if they're compassionate. So
Awesome. I love that. That's fantastic. Thank you.